welcome back to the JrX2 series, where I am going to restore 4 vintage JrX2s and JrX-T. So this is a JrX2 update video that's actually a JrX-T / Junior 2 box opening. Here we are. So, been cleaning the parts since the last video, and it was a slow process because I also ended up going down a hockey card rabbit hole. Long story, but if you're interested in vintage hockey cards, you can check out those videos, and unfortunately there are more of those videos to come. But for now, back to the channel's main focus, and that is RC. And right now this project is the JrX2 restoration video. So as you can see here on the table, I have 4 JrX2 chassis, and they are of various condition. Some are better than others. Almost all have extra holes. The one with the servo here, it doesn't have any extra holes. It's not the cleanest one, or it actually is the cleanest one. It's too bad. This one is very clean, but has been butchered. Really too bad. This one is has not been butchered, but it's not super duper clean. And anyway, that is going to be the Shelf Queen JrX2. The other ones will become runners. And of course, I have a JrX-T that I'm going to be building as well. I already have one runner, and I will have one for the shelf. And this chassis is OG, doesn't have the slot for the servo saver like the Pro, like my other one. Actually, my other JrX-T is actually a JrX Pro converted to a JrX-T. It still has HR in the back, has the Pro chassis with the cutout for the servo saver. I might actually put 5-link on it because I have a plethora of 5-link parts. So we'll see. We'll see. One thing at a time. So for now, let's get the JrX-T update out of the way. I was waiting on some stuff. I looked through all my parts. I did not need these, but these were original JrX-T shocks, and they were in pretty good shape. You can tell that they're later, not early generation parts, because of the color. And I've actually seen this in Team Associated B6, where they went from one shade of gray to another shade of gray, kind of changed the formula of the plastic that they were using, and it became much more durable. Let's see if I can find here in this mess of parts. Well, here, for example, and I apologize if the camera doesn't pick this up, in my left hand, I have a early shock collar, and it is black plastic. In my right hand, the shock has a gray colored shock collar, and that's a newer version where the style is the same, but the plastic has been upgraded. Later on the Pro SE, this was completely redesigned, and it wasn't narrow. It was much wider and not so prone to cracking. As far as the shock bottom goes, I know I have some in here. So here we go, way up front here. Again, I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick up the color difference, but the shock collar on my left is the shock collar for JrX2 JrX-T 5-link suspension, and it's black plastic. The one attached to the shock here in my right hand is light gray plastic, and that is a later production, newer version. So just a little something, a little extra tidbit of knowledge you didn't ask for. So I was waiting on actually what happened was, this was the only thing I was missing. When I got some parts from my buddy Doug, I got this, and everything else on this chassis was JrX-T, but this rear shock mount was missing, and these things are very hard to come by, and it is in near pristine condition. There is the slightest little wear at the ends where a body sat on it, but other than that, it's never been cut. The holes are not all stretched out. Like, it's in excellent shape. So I got that off eBay, and I got these shocks off eBay from the same seller. There was a real cool note in the package. Dang, I don't have it with me. It's like, please support our channel. We're doing this to help start a college fund for our boy. I'm like, yeah, good for you. So anyway, so that's all I needed to get the JrX2 started, and I would have started the JrX2 already, only, yes, hockey cards took over my life for the better part of, since the last video. But tonight, not done organizing them, doesn't matter. I put them aside because there was a package arrived that I could not ignore. I had to get to. So, along with the JrX2, so in the previous JrX2 update, I mentioned that I would print the manual, sort all the parts, and then take the absolute very best parts and bag them according to the manual, and then build the kit as if I had purchased the kit and was following the instructions and using all the parts from bag A, doing step 1, going to step 2, all the parts from bag B, etc. So that's still going to happen. Only if you followed my channel and followed some of my other series, you might recall that, and that other series is not done. It's the Kyosho Big Brute Restoration video series, where I started off buying 2 big bosses and was supposed to create 1 big brute and 1 big boss. How did that work out again? Oh yeah, I bought another big brute off of eBay that was near mint, almost ready to go, needed a body, needed tires, and concentrated on that as my shelf queen. And then traded some big boss parts with somebody in Alaska. I'm in New Brunswick. Alaska and New Brunswick are about as far away from each other on the northern continent as you can get, like North American continent. New Brunswick's over here. Alaska's way up over there next to Russia. Like, anyway, whatever. It's not 1912. So I mailed him some big boss parts. He mailed me some big brute parts. And that got my second big brute going. So I used the 2 big bosses and traded some big boss parts off for some big brute parts. And then I got a big boss, which is going to be in a video soon. And then the final video will be on the big brute runner. And then, of course, there's the big brute for the shelf. The reason why that happened was, yeah, I started with 2 and then I bought 1. Well, I did the same thing for this. That rant is to tell you that, yeah, I've got all these parts and I've got some really nice parts and I've got some very, very early parts. I don't have 1, but I have 2 of the early motor plates that are blank. There's no writing on them. They went blank, JrX2 and then JrX. Then it was Team Lozi Performance. This one is in terrible shape, but that was the latest or the last version on cars that I had back in the day. They were engraved Team Lozi Performance. So you would have seen those on the Pro SE, the Junior 2, the Junior T. So this pile of parts is cool. There's some very early parts, which is nice. And then I did a thing. And bourbon was involved in that thing. I would say bourbon or scotch. One of the devil's liqueurs was involved in that. It's too good to pass up, and I almost lost it. So one of the guys who actually, thankfully, is in Canada, on the Facebook Vintage Lozi group, posted a Junior 2. So we're going to crack that box open in a second. So back to the JrX2. I was going to do the T first. I'm still going to do the T first. And then I'm still going to sort all these parts. But now that there's a Junior 2 in the box, you'll see what's going to happen with that. But I also printed the JrX2 manual. I can't go by memory. I always consult the manual. And one of the pet peeves that I have when I work on somebody else's stuff, and it's a me problem, but whatever, sometimes it actually damages I want the right screw in the right location. Sometimes people use a screw that's too short, too long. This is triggering for my OCD. So by using the manual, I can ensure that the right screw is put in the right hole. Something else I like about these manuals, they actually have a scale diagram of the hardware at the back of the manual. So if you're a Canadian and don't know what 7/8 of an inch is because you were born in the 80s and use the metric system, then you can just lay the bolt on the page and hopefully unscrew your life and learn imperial units of measurement as well. So JrX2, it's going to be done first with JrX2 parts, and then I'll get back to creating 4 or maybe even more, maybe 4 JrX2s and a Junior T. Along with the JrX2, I've been having hard luck with bodies. I used to order directly from Sabula, but now they don't ship to Canada from their website, but they do on eBay. So I had to go to eBay to get 2 JrX2 bodies. Count them. Where's the other one? It happens. It's what happens next that matters. I believe, I'm not going to say the name because I might get it wrong, but the gentleman who takes care of Sabula through eBay, I sent him a picture of the box, said I ordered 2. There was only 1. Apologies, going to get it in the mail right away. If you incurred any costs for duties or anything like that, you let me know. I'll take care of it. I'm like, thank you. It sucks that the other body didn't arrive, but you can't ask for better when there's a mistake made. Own the mistake, correct the mistake, and offer some form of compensation if required. Did all that. Will not hesitate from continuing to shop with Sabula on eBay. All right. So, JrX2 manual, ready to go. So again, my bourbon-inspired purchase here. This was listed as a parts car, parts Junior 2, but built with all new parts. So it's not like this was a Junior 2 kit that was purchased as a Junior 2 kit and built, and no. And somebody had a stockpile of new JrX2 and Junior 2 parts, and they built it. I'm curious to see what motor plate is on it. I probably know from looking at all the pictures and stuff, and there was some slight upgrades. So the Junior 2 and the Junior T we didn't have RTRs back then. Not from a high-end company anyway, like Team Lozy. So we had entry-level kits. So the Junior 2 and the Junior T were entry-level kits. They didn't have, I don't think they had ball bearings. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they didn't have turnbuckles. They just had threaded rods for your camber lengths or your steering lengths. That was one cost-saving measure. All right. Oh, look at that. Oh, and shout out to the seller. He threw in some extras. Those are some vintage, original. Oh, wait. Wow. Jam it. Okay. All right. I'm getting excited. Focus. Oh, I love this. It even came with, oh man, this is, oh, so exciting. It came with little gifts, little extras. Now, you may think I bought a car. I bought parts. That's just how it is. I did not buy this to be a Junior 2 in my collection. I never owned a Junior 2. I never wanted a Junior 2. But I'm going to tell you, the number one thing I wanted off this car was these rear tires. These rear tires appear to be new old stock. Everything on the car is supposed to be new or advertised as new. And here's my favorite thing about these tires. They are not glued. These are the same tires that were on the JrX2. So this car was bought for those tires. Because I have original JrX2 rims. I want original JrX2 tires. Original wing wire, like a factory wing wire. Factory wing buttons. I would say these wing buttons, they're not super clean for brand new parts, but man, they're tight like brand new parts. The rear shock tower also appears to be completely brand new. Great rear shock tower for a JrX2. I'm going to be using a different one. I'm going to be using a very early one without any holes in it. The motor plate. Team Lozy Performance. That's correct to this car. Has some minor scratches in it. The chassis is no question. The chassis is brand new. There's no question the arms are brand new. It doesn't have the correct hubs. They may be brand new, which is awesome because they'll go on my Shelf Queen JrX2. I'm not complaining. They're not original to the Junior 2, but remember, I didn't buy a Junior 2. I bought a bunch of new parts. That's what's important to me. This guy is never going to hear me complain. You sold me a Junior 2 made with brand new parts, but those are JrX2 hubs. Don't care. Saw the pictures. What I care about is that's brand new. The turnbuckles. The marks on these rear turnbuckles are marks from assembly, from not using the correct tool. The shocks are cool. They got kind of a little bit of an anodizing to them. I won't be using them on my original JrX2, but I might use them on a runner. The shock collars, front ones are the narrow ones, but a later generation. If we look at the back ones, those are those wider ones that I was talking about in the JrX Pro SE era. This antenna mount, it would have been red. The steering bell cranks, Junior 2, probably would have been these ones. This has early JrX2 bell cranks. Don't care. One ball cup is kind of worn. The other one is not. The threaded rod is good. All of the ball studs are new. The pins are new. It has the front bulkhead here says Team Lozy, not JrX2. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, so it's got the Junior 2 front tower, but a JrX2 rear tower. Very upfront about that. That was advertised as being a JrX2 tower. As a matter of fact, not only was the person upfront about the fact that it was a JrX2 tower, they said, I will also include the JrX2 front tower. This bag, these bags contain some things I was told I was going to get and some extras, just because this guy was just awesome. Here's a JrX Pro rear tower. Love that for me. OG spur. Early JrX2 front tower. Another JrX2 rear tower. Love this. Back in the day I had no idea, but these were tuning options. These were your D blocks. This is it's been butchered. Somebody did some work to it. They cut the little tang off. I don't know why, but it's a number 1. And then this one is also a number 1. They numbered them, right? 1, 2, and 3. And what those numbers represented was the amount of toe and anti-squat, the degrees of both. So when you wanted to change your anti-squat or your toe, you had to change the whole rear. And I mean, something like this went all the way to the B5. The early B5 had them in the front, and they would say like they were static in the back, but in the front, the whole locations for the rear suspension arm pins would change, and they would stamp the C block. If you go A, B on a 4-wheel drive, C, D, they would stamp it with 3+1 or 2+1 or 2 and 2, whatever. So that's cool. There's springs in here, servo arm, some shock collars at the bottom, some drive shafts, a shock shaft, some turnbuckles, some pistons, some of the original just straight up threaded rod for this car. Random springs, look more like Associated than Lozy. Love me a bag of freebies. Thank you, sir. And then, and he had asked me, like, is there anything you need? And I was like, yeah, I'm going through my parts. I notice I've got lots of bulkheads. Well, that's a brand new super clean bulkhead. We know where that's going. But then I've got bulkheads like this. What is that about? Stuff be cut out. And then I got another bulkhead here. Nothing's been, this one, the hole for the pin is really, both of these holes are really damaged where the pins went. If you're going to build a shelf queen, no one would ever see that. But remember I was talking about screws? On this side, somebody jammed a screw in there. It was too long and they stretched out the top of the plastic. So Does it work? Yeah, but do I want it to be on my shelf queen? No. So he threw one in. It's all there. Nothing's been chopped off of it. The only thing is that someone again put screws that were too long. However, and someone broke off ball studs, and the threaded part of the ball stud is still in the bulkhead. But again, you're not going to, you don't use those holes. If you use these outside holes, you're fine. The broken bolts are in the same location on both. But what's nice about this is that's intact. So for sure, I'll use the piece that he gave me well before I use this. Because this one can now go in the trash. There's been like some kind of weird hole drilled all the way through here and filled with hot glue. What is that about? Again, if I was stuck, I'm not going to throw it out. I'm not going to throw it out. Somebody might need one, and if it's for a shelf queen and the car's not going to run, who cares? But, I'd rather have a part that's not butchered. So, that's great. And then, Period Electronics. There was a Futaba receiver, I think, in the car, or he offered to include one. Right now, there's an FP148 in there. And then a Tekin speed control, which I can definitely solder some nice new clean wires on there. Clean that up a little bit and have a period correct speed control in my in one of my runners, one of my shelf queens. Probably my JrX2 shelf queen. I have a vintage Novak over there for my shelf queen. And then yeah, she's bad shape. She's bad shape, but I can replace that wire. I can replace the switch is fine. And the little extra red wire, which I don't remember what that's for, that's fine. But the wire that plugs into the speed control is a hot mess, but no problem. I got some soldering skills. I can clean that up. If it doesn't work, who cares? I want it to work. Let's not kid ourselves. I want it to work, but whatever. So that's all good. I love the freebies. Some JrX Pro style wheels. Yellow and red. Red ones are pretty beat up, but if you just needed something to put tires on as a runner, they're great. Okay, something else I saw. Yeah. It's the right gear cover. It's got a motor, it's got a pinion. All very nice. Gear cover isn't quite fitting right for reasons. Can address those reasons later. There's a bushing spacer. I got one right here. And these were aluminum, then black, then gray. That goes between the outdrive and the ball bearing. In there, they're not there. That's fine. They're like a dust shield for your bearing. The rear arms are in excellent. Well, again, the rear arms are one of those parts that were listed as brand new and are brand new. So, yeah, I might not use these shocks, but the collars, the eyelets, the spring cups, yeah, all of that. So, and then what? I don't know. Do I want to have a Junior 2 chassis with Pro or JrX2 shocks? I don't know. I'm not opposed to this chassis. I could even put 5-link on it if I wanted to. That was cool because I always kept that there. Anyway, we'll see. But JrX, the gearbox, the wing wire, the buttons. Oh, so it's just so many of these parts are going to go on my Shelf Queen because they're period correct and they're brand new in pristine condition. So my JrX2 Shelf Queen project just got elevated big time. Big time. I had my eye on this antenna mount as well because I have some, but I think only one of the ones that I have the top collar. I bought 2 off eBay. They're on the way. The JrX Pro one was the same color as this. This battery, this is cool. The Trinity X-Spec battery. I'm going to disassemble that and reassemble it in a the other configuration where the cells go this way. Anyway, so the front tires are also vintage Team Losi JrX2 era tires, also in pristine condition. Oh man, wasn't cheap. Don't tell my wife, but it's going to elevate the caliber of my JrX2 Shelf Queen, and it's also going to free up a whole schwack of X2 parts to make another really good one. So think about it. All of my best parts that were going to go on my Shelf Queen are now going to go on my other car. Right down to the runner. The runner, though, the runner's going to get like as many aftermarket parts as I have. I've got the low friction sliders. I've got RPM parts, front arms and rear 5-link RPM parts. That's what's going on the runner. So even after they're all assembled, I will have parts to spare. I've been asked, I'm not selling, but I am looking to trade. So I'm going to end today's video on that note. My second best car, my intention is to trade it for a XX. I got a XXX by mistake. I thought I was buying a XX. Oh no, now I have a XXX. Ooh, so what? I love it. It's cool. Not something that I was trying to collect, so it may end up as a runner. I don't know. That's a like next year problem. So I'm looking for a XX. That's what I'm saying. A XX CR, whatever. If you've got one and it's clean and you don't have a JrX2 and you would like a JrX2, we should talk. Put your email in the comments below or find me on the Vintage Team Losi page and hit me up and we'll see if we can work something out to swap a JrX2 for a XX. So the intention is get the JrX-T out of the way because that's very specific parts and I don't have to worry about using my very best JrX2 parts. So JrX-T first and then Shelf Queen JrX2. And after that, just keep going, just keep building. Just keep building until I have to like, oh, I got to buy something, right? When I got to start buying something, then we'll slow her down. So until next time, everyone, thanks for watching and commenting, liking, subscribing. Bye for now.